Okay. Hey, you guys, welcome back to Becoming the podcast. I am one of your hosts, Micaiah, also known as MB. And then I have my girl over here, your other host, Miss Janelle. Whoop, whoop. Okay, so as you guys already know, if you have been viewing us, but if you're new, welcome. We are Becoming the podcast. We're a weekly podcast. We drop episodes every Thursday. We talk a little bit about anything and everything, but the main purpose is to help people and provide information so people can take that and become the best version of themselves, or work toward it. Make small, tiny steps until you feel like you have become the best version of yourself. We are not experts, just so you guys know, we are not experts here, but we are here to do the work. So I do also want to do a special shout out to anyone who is listening to the podcast, as you can find us now on all streaming platforms. Also, shout out to anyone who is viewing the podcast. If you aren't viewing, you guys really are missing out on a portion. Like me and Janelle, like our facial expressions, like us just like hand, like you guys who are listening, you can't see all these hand gestures I'm doing right now. But you guys who are watching can see all of them. So going over to the I'm Just MB channel so you guys can look at that. And we are thanking you guys in advance for all of your support by liking, subscribing, and following the podcast. And now I'm going to let my girl Janelle talk about this week's episode. Ooh. Girl, did you see my throat? It kind of I don't know what's going on. So I'm going to hand it over to my girl Janelle, and she'll talk about this week's episode.
Hey, you all. I hope everyone is doing well. So, as you know, this is the final week of February, which is the final week of Black History Month as well. Mm-hmm. So, what better way to end it with giving you some knowledge and some history? So, we're going to go back in time to the early part of the 20th century. Tulsa, Oklahoma has the Greenwood District, which was considered one of the most affluent African American communities in the United States. The Greenwood District, with a population of 10,000 at the time, thrived as the epicenter of Black-owned businesses on Greenwood Avenue, also known as Black Wall Street. O.W. Gurley, a wealthy Black landowner, purchased 40 acres of land in Tulsa, naming it Greenwood after his hometown in Mississippi. Several other influential Black businessmen joined, such as hotel owner J.B. Stanford and Tulsa Star newspaper founder A.J. Smitherman. Greenwood Avenue had luxury shops, restaurants, stores, movie theaters, a library, and offices for doctors, lawyers, and dentists. Mm-hmm. Greenwood also had its own school system, post office, a savings and loan bank, and hospital. Tulsa Black Wall Street taught us the power of Black ownership and wealth. With Black ownership, we are able to uplift and cultivate our community. So today's episode, we will dive into the importance of buying Black and how it can generate wealth along with racial uplift. So we have two special guests coming up shortly, so please stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Girl, I need you to go drink some tea, baby.
Girl. Hey, you guys. So we are back with Isaac Epps, the finance man, and Miss Amber Horn, the luxury event orchestrator. So why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves to the audience? Thanks for being here today.
Hi, everybody. I am Amber. I hail from Cleveland, Ohio. I now live in Atlanta by way of University of Kentucky. I freelance my event production services. So I work with primarily luxury event planners, and I help them assemble all of the moving pieces and all of the logistics to help bring major productions to life. And it's been an amazing time. I do want to note, because I feel like it's relevant, I selected Atlanta because I made a vow to work for solely Black-owned businesses and to have Black-owned contractors and things of that nature, so I can service my own people and help spread the wealth, pass it back to people who look like me.
For those of you who don't know, when I first moved to Atlanta, Amber was actually one of the first people that I reached out to. We had lunch. It was just great, like connecting with you and just, everything that you're doing just in the community, all the events. And then like you said, like giving back to the people, because a lot of the events that you do service Black people in the community in their brands and everything, brand awareness.
Yes.
Okay, Isaac.
It's a good time here.
Hello. Hello, everyone. My name is Isaac, the finance man. I'm a purchasing supervisor for a railroad company, so I negotiate contracts and I dabble in real estate, so I do have tenants. And I run an Instagram account called Isaac, the finance man, Isaac official, where I shoot videos that are made to teach personal and business finance in less than 60 seconds, as well as assist people with their credit score.
Yeah, you guys, if you haven't checked out Isaac, you are really missing out. I think this is like the third episode you've been on at this point. Like, I keep calling you. I'm like, come on back.
Oh, he's a veteran?
Yeah, he's a veteran.
It gets to the point where I feel like I'm a worker. All she got to do is just tell me, like, you need to be here at this time. I'm like, all right.
Yep. We appreciate it.
Yeah, pull up.
So you guys, I already told you guys what the discussion is about, and our audience already knows as well. So I really was influenced by two things when I thought about this discussion. I've been on Clubhouse a lot recently, and just seeing like the success of Clubhouse in a short period of time, like they're already at 1 billion. So like seeing that happened, and it was contributed because of Black influencers and Black creatives. And then the second thing that kind of influenced me was I was looking at some other videos, and I saw Master P had made some comments. To kind of paraphrase what he said something along the rights of like, we've helped another brand make it and they're going to go public eventually. If one of us did this, would we be making the same excuses? Like, would we be like, oh, Clubhouse isn't, that's not a great name for Clubhouse. Like if it was us, like Black people creating this, would it be as successful? Just to paraphrase his comments. So those were the two things that kind of really provoked me to be like, I really think we should talk about this. Like we should talk about Black brands and the influence Black people have on that. So I do want to start off with, do you agree or disagree with Master P's thoughts of if it was one of us doing this, would it still have the same type of success?
I am torn because I have the luxury in living in a city where supporting Black-owned businesses is common. But on a national scale, I think what he's trying to say is that we typically don't support our own the way we support everyone else. And that is true. Sometimes we're a little nitpicky when we're dealing with our own people. We seem to have a higher standard for some strange reason. I literally saw a post earlier today where it said, if McDonald's ice cream machine isn't working, you'll just choose to get something else. If you go to Walmart and all of the lanes are closed, you'll just stay in the line, where there are only 2 lines open. But you say you're at a Black establishment and they run out of napkins. And I was like, see, this is why I don't go to Black restaurants. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we seem to be very critical of our own people. That's what he's trying to say. But I don't think he has enough faith in us. I think when we are aware, we do try to. I have a narrow perspective because that's how I live my life. So I don't know if I'm speaking for the entire general public, but I don't think he has enough faith in us. I think if we have the proper brand awareness of Black-owned businesses or cool tech startups, I think we do try to give it a chance. But I don't know. I also don't know if he has statistics to back up what he says. I don't know. Maybe that's how he feels in his world.
Agreed. What is everybody else's thoughts? I think I really want to talk about like what his thoughts are, but I do want to remember that I want to talk about Amber, how you said that higher standard, because I think that's key in this. Like I think a lot of us do hold like our own to a higher standard. It's like we're not holding these other brands, these other luxury brands to the same standard. But Isaac, what are your thoughts on it as well? Master P's comments.
Well, one, I would say I've been on Clubhouse a whole lot as well. It is very addicting, but I highly recommend everyone to get on there if you want to network. It's very easy to network on there. But as far as his comments, one thing I've learned from Clubhouse is about positive affirmations and the power of words. So I don't even want to throw that out there, that Black people are not capable of doing something just as equally as great, if not better. I think that it's quite possible, and I think I see that with Clubhouse. Not everyone who follows me on Clubhouse, I mean, most of them are Black, but not all of them are Black, and they still enjoy some of the conversations in the rooms that I create. So I think that we are capable just as any other race. It's just about having that mindset and not spilling that out into the community and making a little boy or little girl think that's true.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How can I say it? I feel like his comment, I could see where he was, coming from with that comment, because a lot of times a lot of people do would rather support another brand than their own people, but sometimes of course they do come up with excuses, and like Amber stated, this higher standard of, oh, they didn't bring my item out fast enough, or this line is ridiculous long. But if you were to go to Nike and they had a long line for some J's, you're going to stand out there, right?
With
So
a
it's
smile
the
on your
same way
face.
with our yes, with a smile on their face. So it's the same way with our own Black owned companies. Um, but let's really talk about the ability for Black business people and inventors when it comes to technology and apps. Not all of them are able to really put up for this app. Does that make sense? Am I saying it off, correctly?
Yeah, you are.
So basically they don't have the same money
Yeah.
or loans to even get their business started and up off the ground like these other people. So you have to really look into that as well. We're not offered the same opportunities as other people when it comes to starting our own businesses and our own brands. So that's a fact in this as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Talking about that, like we don't always have the capital, we don't always have the resources, the connections to start like a brand, to the degree of Clubhouse or Amazon or some of those like top brands. And that was really what people use to take that. I did want to kind of throw out some statistics. I know, Amber, you had said, I don't know what statistics Master P has that he's even making that claim. So I did want to throw out some statistics about the Black consumer, like their buying habits. So according to Nelson, it's a survey that they do like every year, that they've done like 10 years of like Black consumer reports. So according to the survey they did in 2019, African Americans buying power stood at $1.4 trillion. That is a 48% increase since 2010. And this buying power surpasses both white people and then the actual total US population as well. And then just to give you a little bit further detail, we're projected to be on target to hit 1.8 trillion in 2024. So to have buying power that surpasses the total US population, like I just think there's so much power in that itself, that we should be, supporting more Black owned businesses. Our businesses really should be brought up to the forefront. So I want to kind of talk about like, why do we feel like that isn't? I think we kind of got to that a little bit in saying like, I think we hold ourselves to a higher standard, but if we have this so much power, if we influence culture, like we are the culture, like why aren't more of our brands being pushed to the forefront?
Well, me personally, that statistic actually worries me, because in my head, there's two types of people. There's producers and there's consumers. And unfortunately, African Americans tend to lean more onto the consumer side. So
Agreed.
we are the people that's fueling the economy, but not living up to the standards of the producers who are able to create those products or services and use that money to invest, and they're able to grow their wealth and generational wealth. So that part just scares me a little bit. But as far as building Black brands, I think that we are moving more towards a culture where everyone wants to buy Black products. I think that's something that we are driving towards. I think what we should be more concerned of too is just honestly getting financial literacy out to our people, because everyone has a bright idea, but some people do not know how to start a business or how to capitalize on their business. And I think that's where the brands are suffering. They're not getting enough revenue to put back into their business and allow it to grow so they can either serve more people or send out more products to more people. So that financial literacy part is the issue that we have.
I agree. I completely agree. I think of when you brought that up, my first thought was resources. So like financial literacy is one thing that goes into building brands. Marketing is another thing. I think I make the excuse a lot, specifically with my own personal brand and then this podcast. I'm always like, well, I don't really know what I'm supposed to be doing with social media, how I'm supposed to market this. Like, it's hard, but it's just like making sure that we have access to that information, like how to market. I think, Isaac, as you said earlier, like Clubhouse is a great tool to use to learn a lot, to network, to make those connections. And I've learned a lot from Clubhouse, but I also think we sometimes, and I don't want to give us a bad name, but sometimes we're more about like, hey, we have to get all these things in order before we start something. And there are other cultures that are like, no, I'll just start and I'll figure it out as I go. So that's one thing that I feel like kind of keeps us back in a sense as well. Because I know me starting this, I was like, I need to do research. I need to know where I need to be posting this. I need to know, what the history is of podcasting and all of that. So what are you guys' thoughts on that? Like us feeling like we have to have everything all together before we even start something.
I think, it's like a catch-22. Yeah, I feel like there are, as a Black professional putting themselves on the line to start a business, sometimes we have nothing else to fall back on. So we make sure that all of our I's are dotted, all of our T's are crossed, because if I invest in myself to the point where this is all I have and it fails, where, I have no idea where I'm going. Whereas there are other cultures that have things to fall back on, where their parents can fund the jump start, you know what I mean? Or they can always go back to their dad's shop to work. I think us having a plan B, because a lot of Black entrepreneurs nowadays are, I'm gonna just say, a lot of people literally, their parents aren't educated, they didn't come from the best school systems. Many of them didn't even go to college or didn't finish, you know what I mean? So they're betting on themselves. So I think we are playing it safe by making sure that everything is foolproof. So I do admire that about us, because we're trying to play it smart, but it does waste a lot of time. Mm-hmm. You are absolutely correct about that. So we have to figure out how to bridge the gap of how to take a risk, but not waste the moments and let somebody else, because Clubhouse, and there was some type of discussion about that. Somebody here in Atlanta had a similar app, Cookout or something like that.
Yeah.
So, but they didn't get I don't think got a patent. There was something that happened where low key they just moved too slow. And unfortunately, here we are, where Clubhouse's valuation is out of this world, and that could have been one of us. You know what I mean? So it's just a matter of trying. That is a great perspective that I think we all need to work on. The great thing to make sure you know what you're doing beforehand, and making sure you're literate in whatever you're going into. Mm-hmm. But we need to become a little bit more fearless and have more faith.
Agreed. Yeah, the Cookout is the app you're talking about. I think they're doing some rebranding, so I think the name's going to change soon. But it's literally the same thing as Clubhouse. It's just Black owned. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but Janelle, you were going to say something?
I feel like it's like a really, like I said, a catch-22, simply because I also feel like a lot of Black owned businesses, they lack preparation. And that's really huge in regards to making sure, hey, you have your inventory in, you have labels created, you have everything that you need to make sure your business is ran smoothly as possible, and that your clients are able to get whatever merchandise they want. A lot of people fail at actually having everything, you know what I'm saying, ready to go out on the market. And you just have to make sure that you're prepared for it. A lot of people love to be like, oh, come support my business. But what business can I support if you don't have anything available for me to purchase?
Right.
So we have to do our job as well in these Black-owned businesses, making sure that, hey, you do have these items available. And if not, make sure you have some alternatives listed for customers as well.
Agreed. Yeah, I wanted, to be honest, before this episode, I was like, let me just do a quick Google search and see what pops up on Google when I type in like popular Black brands. So that's literally what I typed into Google. When I tell you, and I know there's a ton of Black brands out there, there's a lot that I support, but when I tell you the ones that popped up, either I did not know them, they weren't like recognizable to me, I didn't know them off top, or they were all Black owned celebrity brands. So it's just, that's interesting in itself to me. Like, either not being recognized or not, like I don't know how to put it, but like I feel like we have to see some type of like popularity or some type of like success before we actually start supporting the like Black owned brands, if that makes sense. Like obviously I'm going to support, or a lot of people are going to support, you know, like Fenty or anything Beyonce's dropping or things of that. But you know, your neighbor down the street, like they may post a picture of, you know, them and their significant other, and it may get a whole bunch of views. But they post something that's like, hey, I just started a business, and it's like 2 or 3 likes. Or, you know, keep going, or let me know when you're doing something else. So like, what are your thoughts of like centered around that? Like the brands, us not supporting brands, but also like them not being at the forefront, if that makes sense. Like you just seeing those celebrity brands.
That's good. I think so. A couple of things came to mind. So many times, small Black-owned businesses, you know, when it comes to products. No, I'm gonna contradict myself a little bit. I was originally gonna say that popular brands and price points are different than smaller brands and price points, but that's not necessarily true because we spend a lot in the luxury field as well. If they're Black owned, I'm not certain. It's a matter of trust. I don't think we trust things with 3 likes. Would you? You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
And I think that's why it's very important to support your friends if they're doing anything, or support your loved ones if they're trying to jumpstart something, because right now, social media capital, it means a lot. So if you don't have a following backing you, or some type of influencer that's helping, and that's why the influencer market, they get paid crazy dollars. If you see how much they can get paid for a post or a story or things of that nature, and we're in a day and age where social media is one of the primary ways to push your product or your service. So unfortunately, that is you'll have some pushback. I think that's everybody. I think, you know, if you were Hispanic and you just started a lip gloss line and you only had 20, you know, you had a small amount of viewing, nobody backing it, people aren't really trustworthy. So I think we just need to it starts at home, and that's why I make an effort to, if my homegirls are, you know, starting a new beauty line or something like that, I make sure to be the first one to buy it, and I'm buying 5 of them at a time. You know what I mean? And I'm telling everybody where I get my stuff from. If it's a t-shirt and the t-shirt is $50, and I feel like, okay, it's $50 for just one word on the shirt, whatever, it's my homie. So I'm gonna just get it, and to just help push, you know, maybe have some influence that way. So I think it's a matter of supporting the people that you know first, over the people that you have no idea who they are. You know what I mean? I think it just starts in the house, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
When it comes to like brands, especially just starting off, my personal opinion, like it's nice to get like your family and friends to hop on, but to me, I knew that like I was doing something when like it was someone from a random state that actually like really loves my videos, and they really message me on a regular basis. They're really committed to joining my clubhouse rooms, and that's when I realized that like there's a market for what I do. And it might not necessarily reach out to my family and friends. It might not be on their map. It might not be on their radar, but it's on other people's radars. And it's because they seek my type of guidance. So when it comes to the whole, like not being fully aware of Black brands, I think it's just because most people don't intentionally put Black brands on their radar. So it's important for Black brands to put it in your face on a regular basis, consistently. So that's my viewpoint. If you want to be more exposed to Black brands, you have to intentionally seek out Black brands. Kind of like what Amber did. There's probably 100 white luxurious planning companies, and probably 3 or 4. And I'm being over exaggerating, but it's probably 3 or 4 Black luxurious planning companies, and she made it her intentions to work with them. And that's why she works with so many of them, because it's her intentions. We have to do the same thing with Black brands. You have to intentionally want to buy Black brands, and then as a influencer or as a Black brand, you have to intentionally want to push it into Black people's faces.
And
I agree with both
that
of
being
you all.
said, yeah, I think, and the problem that we have as a community is that's a lot of work. It takes a lot of work for me to specifically go and find a Black bank. You know what I mean? It takes a lot of work for me to make sure, is this product, who created this product? Let me make sure, you know, do they have Black people on their board? You know, it takes a lot of work before you buy. And some people
we move too fast. And if it's
We
going to
do.
take me an extra 3 minutes to do something, we're not going to do it if we can just go to Amazon and click it and now it's here in 2 days. You know what I mean? So it's like I said, it's about, you have to be dedicated to the cause. And once we're all on that same page, who knows where we can go as a culture.
Agree.
Amen. And that's what I'm saying. I agree with both of you all statements. It's all about pushing the Black businesses to the forefront for people to actually see them. I don't think it's necessarily about like the success of the company right now, which is why Black businesses don't have as much business. I don't think it's because of that. I really believe it's more about what the company represents and whether or not the product is good or not. If the product and the service is great, I will always support it. Like for example, I go to Wax First Lofts here in St. Louis. They focus on waxes and extractions for clean, smooth skin. So anybody can wax hair off. Anybody can. But it's the fact that the staff is friendly and the service is professional and it's Black owned. So I'm gonna always go back to them for the same services because hey, I know that you're professional and you're Black owned too. Hell yeah, I'm gonna support y'all. So you
Right.
just have to know how to market your products too as well, which MB referenced that earlier. So my thing is, are you willing to go to vendor events? Are you willing to create a web page to get your products out there? Are you handing out business cards or even samples? All of that can impact your business growth as well. And it's key. It really is key.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
do want to mention, yes, it is. As you mentioned, I think we have to put ourselves in the areas because, like you guys mentioned, no one is seeking us out.
Mm-hmm.
I do think I also feel like it is a role, and maybe I'm extra type A, so it's a gift and a curse. But even if I go to Black-owned businesses and the service is not up to par, and that happens. You know how we can get. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not really a stereotype. It's really how it goes. I
Yeah.
make an effort to leave a suggestion. Something went wrong. It's not that I'm
Mm-hmm.
ripping them to shreds and I'm very disappointed. It's just like, hey, I appreciate you giving me the space for me to come to enjoy brunch or whatever it may be. These are some issues that I had, and a way to better this in the future. I think this should happen. This should happen. This should happen. It's almost like guidance. And even I work with a lot of Black-owned businesses, in my field, and some of them lose clients. Like a lot of people hire me because they don't know how to talk to people, and I know that is one of the craziest things. That's where I get most of my income are from creatives who literally know how to create, but they're not good with client relations. So I'm the middleman. So I step in and I'm able to
Hmm.
say what they're trying to say, to the client properly to make sure they don't lose them. And I think I'm helping Black-owned businesses stay afloat because a lot of people cut us off if we talk left. And we're used to talking left. That's how, sometimes our demeanor can be that way just naturally. So I think instead of being so judgmental about the service, just try to be some type of assistance. It's still support, go back to see how they gotten better 3 months later. You know what I mean? I don't think we should give up on our own.
Yeah, I agree with everything that, Amber, you've said and everyone else has said. One thing that keeps like ringing in my mind is everyone was talking, I think we all kind of touched on this, is building community. I think building community is key when we're seeking to, level up with our brand in a nature. Like, I think someone had mentioned wanting to, or maybe I'm mistaking, but I know Clubhouse we talked about is one thing where you're able to talk to people and bring them in. I think Isaac had mentioned like you can reach out to your family as much as you want, but if it's not something that they're interested in, like you need to find the people who are actually interested in the thing that you are trying to present to the market. So yeah, I think we all kind of hit on building community altogether. I did want to highlight some Black-owned brands because we are having this conversation. So I know, Janelle, you had some that you wanted to kind of highlight.
Oh yes. Okay. So my first one is Raspberry Storm. They have all natural and organic body butter and sugar scrubs. Oh my goodness, y'all. I really, really love it. The vanilla shimmer is amazing. You say moisturize. I love it. So that's one Black owned business. Shout out to Homegirl who made the honey pot company.
Mhm.
So that's for female, menstrual products, cleansers,
Honey
and
pot.
all the products like that to leave the vagina clean and fresh. So shout out to her as well. And then we have Sherrod Simpson. I'm actually wearing one of his shirts. It's the God is Dope founder. I know y'all see the ads on Facebook. So that is
they send me a text message almost every other day. So I
so I mean, those are three right there. That's just like boom, easy access. I go to them because I love them, and I continue. Like I say, I'm able to get the honey pot from Target. I'm able to get Raspberry Storm right off the web page, the internet. And then Sherrod, I'm able to get off the internet as well. So it's boom, right there. But yeah, it's so many other brands. Like Tier NYC, they have like the streetwear brand. It's like brightly colored tracksuits, like almost like Adidas. You know how Adidas came out with all them fresh colors?
Oh yeah, I've seen them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen those.
Them. You also have Love
like
Vera.
we're in a time where I think people are. Someone mentioned. I think we are transitioning into supporting more. Like I feel like I'm so glad you guys are shouting them out. I think especially after last year and what they was putting us through, everybody was like, you know what? I'm gonna take my money elsewhere.
Yeah.
So rearrange how we spending our money.
yeah, because you can remember like people of these large corporations and businesses aren't even on our side. No, absolutely not. Let me see what I can do with this dollar elsewhere. So I'm liking the switch that's happening.
Yes, and you know what, MB? I'm gonna finish this list of the ones I wrote out because I mean I love Rihanna and I love Savage Fenty. But you also got another black lady who made her own lingerie line too, and it's for diverse size ranges too, and that's Love Vera.
Oh, I've never heard of. You said Love who?
Love Vera.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar.
Girl, you gotta put me
like
on
I said, girl. Well, you look, you saw the list, baby. I was gonna get you together. But look, everybody knows we go way back.
We do. But I'm gonna be honest, I do not shop like that. So I'd be just missing out on stuff.
Hold on. I ain't gonna lie. Y'all know the vintage necklaces that was in gold, like the old school in the 80s, you know, how they used to rock the necklaces and the big hoop earrings. Well, it's a business called 1920 Galore, and they have that too. It's the vintage jewelry, the gold chains and rings like in the 80s. So, like I say, check them out, y'all. I got some good ones on here because I was like, oh, I like this. I like this. I'm popping this.
Clubhouse, you realize there's like 1,000,001 black businesses.
Yes.
There's so many. There are so many. Like we almost have no excuse. The one place that the one area where I think it's most difficult is food. I think shopping for food, and that's such a huge chunk of what we spend our money on. I think locating black-owned grocery stores, not even locating them, starting them and having them available for people to go to. I think that is something that we should probably work on in the near future. Is just kind of going into that market. Because you have areas where they have cultural food. Like you can go get some. I know plenty of Caribbean grocery stores and things of that nature, you know, that they have here and there. But I think we need to work on diving into that, and then we would really have the full package.
Yeah, you know what the crazy thing is? It's like here back at home in St. Louis, we had a lot of black-owned grocery stores, but as they got older, they started dying out. A lot of people, the stores was passed down to, you know, their kids, but their kids couldn't maintain it and keep it up. And you also had other things too, where the neighborhood got bad, and next thing you know, people are stealing from these businesses.
Yeah,
and then you know that's taking. Yes, it's ruining their business too because those are losses, not profits. So that's huge too.
So many moving parts. Where do we start?
I think another problem though, when it comes to black businesses, is that we don't try to address a problem that exists. Because to me, sometimes it's like as long as there's a problem, it don't care if you black, white, or green. Like someone needs to solve, and if you're the only person that's solving it, then you're gonna get that bread. So I think that aligning our businesses with issues that we see on a regular basis, that our friends complain about, that we complain about, and then trying to solve that problem with some type of sophisticated system or whatnot, I think that would help us tremendously with our businesses because there's just no way to fail there.
I think that should be the only way too, personally. I mean, outside of when you start a service, I think products are different. I'm service based, so I don't know much about the product world, but that was I created a career that I didn't even think existed. When people ask me to explain what I do, I still don't have the language. I still don't have the words. Because all I know is I help. However
I
they
saw
need it,
fire.
whatever they need to get done, I can just figure out how to do it. And yeah, I just like I always say, just call me if it's something specifically in the event industry. But I've dabbled into florals. I dabble into interior design because this type of skill set of being able to assist is transferable in all departments. So I think knowing the skill set that you have that you can use in different segments, so profitable, so profitable. So I think we should have that mindset when starting up.
Yep.
Agree. So we are going to play this or that. We've come to this segment of the show. So what this or that is we asked you this or that. So we'll ask you like either you choose this or you choose that. You just pick one and you quickly defend your answer. The caveat is you have 90 seconds to get through all 10.
Top notch. Okay.
Okay, let me get the timer. All right, and
Let me know when you're ready, MB.
Okay, I will say that this is brand version of this or that. I didn't choose any Black-owned brands just because I don't want to put our Black sisters and brothers against each other. So these are just all like reputable brands. Okay, I am ready.
All right, Coke or Pepsi?
I don't drink soda, but I'm gonna pick Coca-Cola because I live in Atlanta and this is the Coke world. So I think that's the fairest answer.
Okay, Adidas or Nike?
Oh, I don't know. Nike because I think it's more. I like their brand, like the diversity that they have been starting to put out with their different projects, and I think it's more recognizable. I'm so bad at this. I'm sorry.
You got 47 seconds.
Okay, Louis Vuitton or Gucci?
Louis because Gucci did that monkey turtleneck, if I'm not mistaken. Can't rock with that.
Apple or Samsung? 30 seconds.
Apple because they've made your life easier in so many different ways, from headphones to computers to iPhones, all of that.
All right, Hershey's or M&M's?
15 seconds.
Hershey's or I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
M&M's.
Oh, Hershey's. I like chocolate bars, straight chocolate. You see me?
All right, we are out of time.
I got through like 5. I'm so bad on this.
You got through kind of 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you got through half. So yeah. Okay, Isaac, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, we're gonna ask you the same questions. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go from top to bottom. Are you cool with that, Janelle?
Top to bottom again?
Yeah, from bottom to top. I'm sorry, bottom to top instead of top to bottom.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right, Isaac, Instagram or Twitter?
Instagram. I don't have a Twitter.
BMW or Mercedes-Benz?
I will admit I'm not a luxurious car person. I think that's a waste of money to buy a depreciating asset. I'm gonna go. What would you say, Rolls Royce? I'll go with that one.
You know, Isaac.
Okay, next one.
Okay, Tiffany Co. or a Rolex?
A Rolex, because it never stops spinning. Oh no, Drake said.
Okay, 50 seconds. Microsoft or Google?
Google.
Why?
And why?
All right.
Oh, I like Google because you can. I mean, I Google everything. Google got me through college. Google is the best professor.
Disney or Nickelodeon?
Disney.
30 seconds.
I'm invested in Disney.
Oh, okay.
Hershey's or M&M's?
Hershey's. I like bars. I don't really eat chocolate that often.
Okay.
All right, Apple or Samsung?
Apple, because like Amber said, it's made life very and you can't even get on Clubhouse with the Samsung. Yeah, you can't.
Yes.
Yeah, Apple.
5 seconds. Louis Vuitton or Gucci?
None, neither.
Okay. Time's up. Okay, you got 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I tried.
Okay, I do want to.
That's
Oh, let me stop my timer. It keeps going off. My bad.
That was great.
Yeah, it's just a fun thing to kind of mix up the episode, just to ask you guys your thoughts. We do different ones based off of different episodes. So yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I do want to just kind of end the episode just with any kind of like lasting thoughts when it comes to things that we can do to, further support and help, our brothers and sisters who own Black brands. I know we talked about a lot throughout the episode, and I think it's very, very useful. But is there anything lasting that you guys wanted to just like mention when it comes to, building up?
Well, when it comes to anyone who's trying to build a Black brand through Instagram or Clubhouse, one, if you're trying to build it through Instagram, I highly recommend you read Instagram's resources. They provide resources that teach you how to use their platform, including their ads, how their algorithm works, everything. Google Instagram business. I wish I need to know this link from the top of my head, but if you Google Instagram business, there's a site that's like Facebook business or something like that. Gives you everything that you need to know. It's a lot to take in, so it's probably gonna take you about a week or two. But read through that content, and anyone could grow their brand. I promise you, if you do it step by step. So that's why I recommend for anyone who's trying to build through Instagram, and then with Clubhouse, just hop in, speak, talk, have a story, and your brand will instantly grow with ease.
Agreed. Amber?
For me, yes, I think we said so many awesome things throughout our time. One of the most important things is I feel like you should solve a problem, as we mentioned. I think that is one of the easiest ways to grow your business if people need you and only you. If you provide a unique service, I think remain authentic. Don't look to the left or to the right at your competition and what they're doing. Like create your authentic brand that represents you to the fullest. Um, I think you should embody your brand. Once you start a business, it's very difficult to separate yourself from that business. So you need to walk as if you are that business, if that makes sense. Every decision you make represents your brand. So watch what you post, watch how you talk to people, watch the rooms that you're in, because it will affect you and people are watching. So always be mindful and cognizant of that. I think that you should not be revenue driven at first. I think making money, if you master your craft, I know we mentioned we waste a lot of time in that, but I do think that is important to take the time to know the segment that you're getting into and learn from the people who have done it before you. Find a good sensei. That was one of the best things I could have ever done, is studied under a great who was willing to give me all the nuggets that she had and then introduce me to people who she felt like I could also service. And that helped me expand throughout the city in ways that I could have never imagined. So make sure you get in the right rooms and that could be anything depending on what segment you're in. Make sure you get in the right rooms, talk to the right people, and try to be of assistance so they can trust you. You have to build trust with these people. And yeah, I think that's it. Just remain authentic, stay true to yourself, and have faith. If people don't buy at first, if people don't believe in your vision, that does not mean it's not going to blow up. That does not mean you're not good at what you do. Stay focused.
Agreed. You guys, like I say, almost every episode, like you guys definitely drop gems. Like there's so much that like I learned myself personally from the episode, and I'm going to take whereas I'm building my brand and things of that nature. So we definitely appreciate you guys. So thank you for being here. We do want to give you guys the opportunity to talk about anything that you either have upcoming, or if you want to, throw out your socials to our listeners, or just anything you want to throw out to the audience. We want to give you guys that opportunity.
Yeah, I got two things. One is Clubhouse related. I do in a room called What Is On Your Mind? And it's with me and a group of friends from across the country. So the person that's the head dog in charge, she's actually from the UK. It's pretty much just giving people opportunity to clear their minds and learn some tools to, you know, better their mental and other people's mentals. So look out for that at 1 o'clock every day this week, and then we're going to be doing these rooms on Monday on a regular basis, which will include breathing techniques in the beginning and whatnot. And so
Nice.
really, really good space. As far as my business, please look out for a credit repair workshop. Just due to the sheer demand, I'm only one person. I can't serve a lot of people at once. Personal care, so I'm trying to make. I'm trying to find a solution to this by teaching a lot of people all at once, so that would make my schedule a little bit more freer. So look out for my workshop coming soon.
Thank you. I will definitely say Clubhouse, if you out there listening, we gave you a lot of free promo today. If you want to sponsor the podcast, let us know. Shoot, we use you.
Right.
It's going to be authentic references over here.
Amen.
But Amber, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem at all. Follow my Instagram at the Amber Horn. I try to give everyone an inside look on the cool things that are happening in the city, different celebrations or events that are going on. I like to give people who would never have the opportunity to see things like that, kind of like a secret inside sneak peek. I am. Thank you for shouting out your Clubhouse room, because I am still literally, my biography in Clubhouse says it's only my 3rd day out here. I'm still trying to figure out like what it has going on. So I appreciate that. That sounds like a super cool room. I will definitely be in there at 1 p.m. Yeah, I don't have any workshops or anything going on, but maybe in the near future. Stay
Yeah,
tuned.
she does have it coming in the near future. So follow her at the Amber Horn so that you can get locked into that workshop.
Yes. Shout out to you,
Thank
Amber.
you.
Actually, let me just say shout out to Isaac. Isaac is the hype man. Like, he's over here pushing people's businesses. I've been on his Instagram. He's like, go follow so-and-so. Like, Isaac literally texted me the other day and was like, Micaiah, you need to jump in this room so we can promote your brand. I was like, okay, Isaac.
I don't play no games.
It's lit. Yeah, that's awesome.
We pushing all year.
Yeah. Well, we definitely go ahead.
We appreciate you, Isaac. Definitely so.
So again, thank you guys so much for joining us on this episode. We appreciated all of your insight. This was definitely fun. And like I said, I did actually learn a lot from everyone as well. So I definitely appreciate you guys. And we definitely will be following you guys. I know our viewers will be following you as well. So thank you.
Of course.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Tons of fun.
That was great. We just had Isaac and Amber on. You guys were listening to them. That was a great episode. Like, they dropped so much information and knowledge. If you guys are out there wanting to start a business, like, they gave you some gems from, like, they talked about marketing, they talked about building a community, doing your research, like making sure you're aware of the market that you're going into. So yeah, I think it was great. I learned a lot. I'm going to be taking some of this stuff and taking it back onto my own brand and building up this podcast as we continue to move on. So I definitely appreciate them.
Amen. And I second that. And you guys, it's just very, very important that we support our Black-owned businesses. As I was telling Micaiah earlier, in Greenwood District back in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the money moved in their community 19 times before it actually moved outside of their community. Can you imagine that? That means that their community held on to that money for 19 different transactions before it went anywhere else in the world. That's dope. That's what I'm talking about. For Black people to spend trillions of dollars in the US, and we're the #1 people who spend that much money. Just imagine the fortune, the wealth that we would bring back to our own communities if we kept that within Black-owned businesses.
Yeah. And that's the key here. Like, building businesses is building wealth. And it's closing that wealth gap that is currently existing. Like, our wealth gap is huge. I don't know the specific statistics at this moment, but I know it is a huge wealth gap. So that was another, purpose for this interview with them too. So you guys, you already know, if you have made it to the end of this episode, we thank you in advance for supporting us by liking and subscribing if you're on YouTube, or following us and the podcast wherever you are listening. We thank you in advance. We do want to mention that we do have a clubhouse room every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern time. If you want to join, we're going to be talking about this week's episode. So, Black buying power, Black wealth, like everything that we talked about. If you're a Black-owned businesses, come on in. We want to advertise and market you and what you're doing. So come on into the room. Again, it is Thursdays at 9 p.m. So we can't wait to see you guys. And one last thing I do want to say, as always, if you are not following the Being Becoming podcast page on Instagram, make sure that you follow it. So Being Becoming Podcast. We talk about the episode each week. I post it on there on Monday. Like, this is what we're going to talk about. I'll ask you guys questions. You can ask us questions, and we'll ask our guests. So make sure you're following that page. And then if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram at I'm Just MB.
And you can follow me on Instagram at Beautiful J.
Okay, and we'll see you guys next time.